Hello everyone, welcome to Sharmit. In this session, we are going to discuss about few more important suffixes of medical terminology, and we will proceed in the same way. Firstly, I'll walk you through some of the medical terminology prefixes, then we will understand their meaning along with some examples. Because understanding the example is very important later on, like when we will be working for any particular purpose, maybe for documentation or for some reporting purpose. So at that time, if you know the examples, if you know the meaning, then it would be much more easier for you to understand what exactly the information is shared by the that particular terminology, and that's why it is important to understand the examples. Okay. But before we proceed further, I would like to recommend you to please go and check out the previously released sessions first, because they all are in proper sequence and sync. So if you follow them sequentially, then it would be much more easier for you to understand the ongoing topic, because for time being, we are just mainly focusing on how to use medical coding common suffixes. Okay, fine. So let's start one by one. The first suffix that we are going to discuss here is emia. Okay. That is mainly used in order to show some condition related to blood. Okay, so whenever you see this emia as a suffix in any of the medical terminology, then you should know then you can easily relate it with some blood condition. For example, anemia. So this is a medical terminology, and here we can see emia is a suffix, and we all know that anemia is a condition where with a deficiency of red blood cells or hemoglobin. Okay, so if a patient is suffering from this disease, then you will find all the reports containing these kind of terminology like anemia. So from that terminology itself, you can easily identify that yes, it is something related to the blood condition, and the definition is a condition with a deficiency of red blood cell or hemoglobin. Okay, so this is how you have to find out like the actual meaning of emia present in any of the terminology. Second example is leukemia. So this is this is a terminology where we are using emia again. So that means there should be some discussion regarding the blood. So you can read it: a cancer of blood forming tissues causing excess white blood cells. So again we are talking about the blood, and that's the reason we are using the terminology suffix as emia. Similarly, we have third example where we are talking about hypoxemia. Hypoxemia is also a condition where low oxygen levels is in the blood. Okay, so if a patient is suffering from low oxygen blood levels, then that situation will be considered as hypoxemia. So again we are using here emia as a suffix. Okay, so in short, you can say that wherever we are utilizing emia as a suffix, then it means there is some discussion regarding the blood condition. Okay, fine. Likewise, we have ia. Ia means if it is again related to some condition only. Now remember one thing, in medical terminology, if we are talking about, let's say if I am saying that this is the suffix that we are using to denote the condition, but that doesn't mean that this is the only suffix. Okay, there are many alternatives for one to denote one condition. Okay, so don't get confused. There are many alternatives for each and everything. So like it totally depends on the requirement, like where to use what, but you should know about all those possible suffixes, so that whenever you are doing any kind of medical coding, then it would be easier for you to identify the actual disease or actual condition. Okay, so ia is mainly used for showing the condition, denoting the condition. For example, pneumonia. So here we are talking about the condition of lung inflammation, and that's why we are using emia, ia at the end. Okay, so condition of lung inflammation due to infection. Similarly, if we are talking about the condition of inability of sleep, then we will use the terminology insomnia. Okay, so again you can see we are using it to denote some condition of inability to sleep. Likewise, we have third example, which is amnesia, which is condition involving in loss of memory. Yes, so if patient is suffering from loss of memory condition, then in that case we will use this ia as a suffix. Okay, so far we have discussed two suffixes, emia and ia, and that these two suffixes we are using. One is one we have utilized to show the blood condition, another one is showing condition. Condition could be of anything. Condition related to sleep, condition related to lung, condition related to amnesia. Okay, let's move to the next suffix. Next is iasis, which is again denoting the condition or a formation of. Okay, so this is a stage where something start formation. Okay, for example, cholelithiasis, that means formation of gallstones in the gallbladder. So if you read this terminology again, cholelithiasis, then you will find that in the end we are using iasis, which is denoting that something is formation of gallstones in the gallbladder. So here we are talking about the formation, that's why we are using iasis. Okay, likewise we have nephrolithiasis, which is formation of kidney stones. So again we are talking about the formation, that's why we are using iasis. In the third example, we are talking about onychomycosis. Onychomycosis means fungal infection of the nail, sometimes referred to as a onychiasis, rare uses. Okay, so again here also we are talking about some kind of fungal infection formation, and that's the reason we are utilizing onychomycosis. Okay, all right. Now the question comes, let's say if there is another kind of conditions which we want to show through some suffix, then in that case we will use ism. As I mentioned earlier also, that to show condition there are multiple suffixes. Okay, we will try to cover most of them, but yes, still there are lots of suffixes and prefixes that we can use to denote some condition. Okay, so let's see how many we will cover in these sessions. So first, today we are talking about ism. Ism is also used to denote some condition. For example, hyperthyroidism, which is a condition of overactive thyroid gland. Similarly, we have next example, which is hypothyroidism, which is a condition of underactive thyroid gland. Similarly, if we use this terminology albinism, then in this terminology also we are using ism as a suffix, which is present at the end, right? So this is a genetic condition causing of lack of melanin pigment in the skin, hair and eyes. Okay, so in these three example, what is common is condition, because everywhere we are talking about condition of condition of overactive thyroid gland, condition of underactive thyroid gland, and generic condition causing lack of melanin pigment in the skin. Clear? Fine, let's move to the next example. Next is itis, which is used to denote inflammation. So I'm sure like you have heard about these things like arthritis, gastritis, neuritis, otitis. So what we are using it for? So arthritis is arthritis is the terminology, medical terminology that we are using to show the inflammation of a joint. Likewise we have gastritis, which is inflammation of the stomach lining. Then we have neuritis. Neuritis means inflammation of a nerve. And when we want to show the inflammation of ear, then in that case we will use the terminology otitis, which contains the suffix as itis. Okay, in the same go we will talk about iti. Iti means state or condition. So again you can see this is a suffix that we are using to denote some condition or state, and the examples are obesity. Obesity means condition of being overweight with excess body fat. Likewise we have disability, which is condition that limits physical or mental abilities. And in the same way we have immunity, state of being resistant to disease. Okay, so what is common in between all these three examples? The common thing is that we are talking about some condition of being overweight, condition that limit the physical or mental ability, and condition that resistant from diseases. Clear? So yeah, these are the all suffixes which I would like to share with you all in this particular session. Now for the practice purpose, I'm giving you one question and you just need to write the answer of this question in the comment section, and it will not only help you to understand and remember the topic and for preparing your interviews and exam, but also it will help those who don't know about the answer. Okay, so question is, why do we use suffix ites? Don't worry, this topic is already covered. So if you have any doubt, you can simply watch this last session. And if you know the answer, then please share your knowledge in the comment section so that others can take the reference from it. Okay. So yeah, that's all for today. In the next session, we will discuss few more things. So thank you for watching Tech Sharmit.